Hi there, Victor Bra speaking to you, anarchist, artist. Okay, today I'm going to be doing a different kind of video. I guess I have a new theme here on talking about somewhat of a different topic than the usual political and philosophical ones that I have been known to speak about. And this is concerning, though, in intellectual matters. We are going to talk about a libertarian thinker by the name of Sharon Presley, who is a feminist and a anarchist, libertarian, free market individual, activist, and intellectual. And basically the theme of this talk is to cover some of the pretty vile and vitriolic, you could say, attacks upon Canadian philosopher Stefan Molyneux. And there's been certain very direct criticisms that she's leveled against Mr. Stefan Molyneux, and this is the topic that I want to talk about. This is an introductory video. I'm just going to establish what the conflict is and some of the acquisitions and some of the negative criticisms that's been leveled at Stefan Molyneux by Sharon Presley, and I'd like to explain what those criticisms are, and in the following videos to meet those criticisms and to basically, I guess in this case, try to clarify and not so much make it as characterize it as some kind of like defense for Mr. Molyneux, but more or less in the sense of to clarify his position so there is no misunderstanding. But well, on the other hand, I guess you could say that I am defending Stefan for the reason simply that I believe that he is doing important work. There's some severe criticisms going on, but I've made a judgment. I've been in the philosophy game ever since I was 15 years old, studying it feverishly, and that's not to say that I purport to be any kind of expert on it. It's just that I've had that mill greased. Okay, that's all I'm saying basically. Is that I have a great sum of knowledge on it because I've devoted myself to the application of studying philosophy. It's a passion of mine, and so just like painting and drawing, I apply myself and I do as best as I can. I don't try to compare myself to others, but that's besides the point. Point of the matter is that I want to stress is that the criticisms that have been leveled at Stefan Molyneux, I'm able to look at those criticisms and have counter arguments to express for others to consider, and that's really what this video is about. And and it's also important to know that before any kind of criticisms, I mean, I know that they're going to come. It's kind of like, oh, look at here, Victor Prost. He's a Stefan Molyneux cultist. He's one of their cult members. He's rushing to the defense, and so it's I mean, it's just so easy to go for that kind of criticism. I mean, just really easy. I mean, because it's just it's so easy to lend itself because that's the first thing that would pop in anybody's mind. But the fact of the matter is that Stefan and I go back to the 1990s. We're both originally from Toronto. He's still living in Toronto, on the outskirts of in Mississauga. But we're both Ontarians, and we've been in the same intellectual circles. I've had very engaging conversations with Mr. Molyneux over coffee and donuts at an all-nighter after listening to lectures. We've been to the same circles within the objectivist movement, people who have applied themselves to the study of Ayn Rand's philosophy, and people who are just generally knowledgeable in the whole area of philosophy and economics, politics, etc. People with considerable intellectual credentials, I guess you could say, and have very commendable gray matter between their ears. So that's the type of background. It's just Stefan and I are intellectual colleagues, you could put it that way. So we both have very similar points of views. We both have a very similar intellectual background in the sense that we've been interested in philosophy ever since we were very young. So that's just setting the context and establishing some basic facts. So let me just quickly read in this introduction video. It'll be, I guess, a two-part series, I don't know. But let me just explain some of the conflict. Is that Sharon Presley was criticizing Stefan Molyneux for asserting, alleging that Stefan Molyneux basically comes from the point of view that if your friends or family members don't snap into line with your anarchist beliefs, that you should just drop them like a sack of shit, you know? I mean, you could gauge in some arguments and explain your position. If they don't come through and see the light, so to speak, then they're not worth shit, and basically just dump them by the, sever the relationship, just end it, and it's just like bing, bang, boom, you know, it's just over. It's just, you know, just like that, and that's basically how Stefan's views have been characterized. So that's the type of thing that I want to apply myself into clarifying Stefan's actual position on the matter and what my position is. Maybe you want to hear what that's about too, just to explain myself on that in the next videos. And it may very well line up with Stefan's take, but I'm just saying that this is a gross misrepresentation, oversimplification. I'm just saying that it's this position that's been alleged to Stefan is just not accurate. That's basically what I'll be demonstrating and arguing about. So this I did respond to a post that she wrote in connection to this this criticism that we should just drop anarchist thinkers and basic volunteers. If they're family or friends, you can just say goodbye to them, sever the relationship if they don't see the light of free market anarchism and the abolition of the government and so forth. You know, if they announce themselves as a Democrat or a Republican or a conservative, liberal, whatever, it's just like, you know, they're sin-ridden, they're scum, so just, you know, get rid of them. And basically, I was explaining to Sharon that it's a matter of toxicity. Okay, the people who are toxic in your life is the issue. And she responded with, Victor, who can object to ending toxic relationships? Not me. But when Molyneux talked about dumping friends who are unwilling to become libertarians or non-statist, he didn't particularly qualify it. I kept waiting for some kind of qualification. It didn't happen. I heard the whole speech. She's referring to a speech that she attended at Libertopia, I think, in 2010. And I went to that speech with no preconceived notions about SM whatsoever, SM Stefan Molyneux, and I was thinking that this is the most dogmatic libertarian I've heard in many years. I was simply dumbfounded at the speech. I never expected anything like that. And one of her friends pipes in as well, James Piron, and he says that Molyneux seems to have a rather broad definition of toxic. He apparently thinks that any status is toxic, and something to that effect. And he says one clear sign of cultism is the constant pushing of members or followers to cut all those who don't hold similar views, to cut off all those who don't hold similar views. That is and ought to be a red flag, along with lots of alarm bells going off at the same time. It's like, you know, so this is what he's piping in. People often have friends who are similar views. Okay, that doesn't really matter. Okay, so you get the general gist of what's being leveled at Stefan. So this is exactly what I want to meet, the counter arguments that I would have to present at this point of view, that the misrepresentation of Stefan's view, and to explain my own views when it comes to family and friends in my life who are not anarchists. I'd like to explain where I come from on that matter, you know, personally me, and I can link Stefan's video as to what he has to say about it on this very topic. So that's what's to come in the next two videos. It's Victor Pross, anarchist artist. Thank you for listening to this, and see you next time. Pop goes the culture.